The DIG Operations Islamabad Shehzad Bukhari has been seen outside PTI chief Imran Khan's Lahore residence. Sources suggest that police will initiate arrest procedures by serving him a warrant. With police forces outside the former Pakistan Prime Minister's residence, this comes as troubles for Imran Khan's mount. Earlier, two non-bailable arrest warrants were issued in his name. The opposition leader had failed to appear in court in multiple cases. This include cases linked to the Tosha Khana case. Israel's Knesset has advanced a key bill that limits the Supreme Court's ability to overturn laws it deems unconstitutional. A key element of a judicial reform package that has fueled weeks of demonstrations in the country. The text was adopted by a vote of 61 to 52. However, it will still need to be approved at a second and a third reading before it becomes a law. The legislation grants immunity to laws that explicitly state that they are valid even if they come into conflict with one of Israel's quasi-constitutional basic law. It would also allow the parliament with just a simple majority to override Supreme Court's decisions of striking down legislations and deny the court the right to review such a move. As the campaigning for U.S. presidential election begins, former U.S. President Donald Trump went after Florida governor and fellow Republican Ron DeSantis. DeSantis visited the key early voting state of Iowa and leaned in some of the culture war battles. Trump further claimed that he would beat DeSantis by a lot in approval ratings. Iowa holds the Republican Party's first nominating contest earlier next year in the race to take on President Joe Biden, who is widely expected to launch his re-election campaign soon. US President Joe Biden has called its deal on nuclear-powered attack submarines a game-changer. The leaders of the United States, Australia and United Kingdom unveiled details of a plan to provide Australia with nuclear-powered attack submarines, which is a major step to counter China's ambitions in the Indo-Pacific. Under the deal, the United States intends to sell Australia 3 US Virginia-class nuclear-powered submarines, which will be built by General Dynamics by the early 2030s. This will be at a ceremony in San Diego. Biden stressed that submarines would be nuclear-powered, not nuclear-armed. A missing Texas teen has been found alive in a North Carolina shed after last being seen at a home on March 1st. The county sheriff's office said that they have arrested 34-year-old for abduction. He is being charged with child abduction, felonious restraint, human trafficking, and indecent liberties. Investigators with the police and the FBI determined that the girl communicated with the suspect through social media platforms. The victim did not appear to have any physical injuries, but was taken for medical evaluation and eventually returned to Texas. An extremist who raced a truck along a crowded New York City bike path has been sentenced to prison for life with no possibility of parole. This comes after the jury failed to reach consensus on a death sentence. Seyfulo Saipov drove a truck down the busy riverside path running over cyclists, killing 5 Argentine tourists, 2 Americans and a Belgian woman. Seyfulo Saipov was convicted in January in the October 2017 attack that killed 5 Argentine tourists. The Colombian Navy has seized 2.6 tons of cocaine on board a semi-submersible sea vessel. During the inspection of the vessel, they also found bodies of 2 dead people along with the drug shipment. 2 additional people were found aboard the vessel who were in poor health due to inhalation of toxic fumes from the fuel. Navy officials said that the shipment of drugs was headed to Central America. The once famed British police force is under a cloud. A new police report reveals a surge in the number of police officers accused of violent offences against women and girls over the last 6 months. According to National Police Chiefs Council, between October 2021 and April of 2022, more than 1,400 cases have been reported against some 1,500 police officers. This makes up close to 1% of the workforce. Around 600 cases were conduct matters raised by colleagues and some 500 complaints were raised by the public. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has accepted an invitation from US President Joe Biden to visit Washington in June. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was in San Diego for the Australia-United Kingdom-US Summit. The announcement comes in the backdrop of the meeting that brought together US President Joe Biden, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, apart from Sunak. The trio would be unveiling details of a plan to provide Australia with nuclear-powered submarines. US State Department spokesperson Ned Price stated that Washington hopes the Black Sea Grain Initiative will be extended before expiring in March. Russia has suggested extending the deal, which allows the safe export of grain from Ukraine's Black Sea ports for a period of 60 days. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was brokered between Russia and Ukraine by the United Nations and Turkey last July. By allowing Ukrainian grain blockaded by Russia's invasion to be safely exported from 3 Ukrainian ports, it aimed at preventing a global food crisis. Australia's defence minister has said that they offered China a briefing over its nuclear-powered submarine deal with the US and Britain but haven't received any response from Beijing. According to the minister, the Australian government made more than 60 calls over the last week to leaders in the Pacific and Southeast Asia to inform them about the agreement known as the AUKUS Pact. US President Joe Biden, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak unveiled details of a plan to provide Australia with nuclear-powered attack submarines, a major step to counter China's ambitions in the Indo-Pacific. Following North Korea's 2 short-range ballistic missile launches off its east coast, Japan's top government spokesperson has said that North Korea may step up further provocative actions, including missile launches and conducting nuclear tests. The missile launch comes as South Korea and United States are conducting their largest joint military drills in about 5 years. 2 days ago, North Korea test-fired 2 strategic cruise missiles from a submarine. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un ordered the military to intensify drills to deter and respond to a real war if necessary. China is reopening after the COVID-19 curbs were lifted. In the latest, Beijing has decided to reissue various categories of visas to foreigners from March 15th. Apart from this, China also aims to lift visa restrictions for various locations, including the cruise ships passing through the Shanghai port. Visa-free entry for foreigners from Hong Kong and Macau will also be resumed. South Africa's largest public sector workers' union continues to protest outside various hospitals across the country for the second week. The National Education, Health and Aid Workers Union is demanding a 10% wage increase, while the government has only offered a 4.7% increase. As a result of this, protesters have vowed to intensify their action until their demands are met. With heavy law enforcement on display to monitor the rallies, members of the South African Defence Forces were also deployed to keep the protests from turning sour. At least 30 people are missing and 17 were rescued in the central Mediterranean after the boat in which they were travelling from Libya capsized due to bad weather. The Coast Guard said in a statement that rescue operations were ongoing, supported by merchant ships and aerial support by the EU's border agency Frontex. The tragedy comes just weeks after a February 26th shipwreck near the southern region of Calabria in which at least 79 people died. Alarm Phone, a charity that picks up calls the migrant vessels in distress, assumed that 30 people were already dead. They blamed Italy for not sending its Coast Guard despite being repeatedly alerted on that the boat was in trouble. Officials have been working round the clock to tame a wildfire raging in the northeastern region of Argentina has consumed over 3,000 hectares. Footage captured by an eyewitness travelling near the fire showed huge smoke clouds billowing from the wildfire and traffic jams caused by the disaster as large patches of wildfires were burning uncontrollably. According to reports, firefighters, police and 2 waterbombing planes have been working since Sunday to put out the flames in the province, the largest wildfire reported in 2023. Homes have been swept away from their foundations in Peru after powerful cyclone Yaku unleashed torrents of rain in Peru's northern region. In the province of Lima, houses next to the swollen Chilean river were swept away after water levels rose dramatically. According to the disaster and risk manager, so far 29 houses and approximately 50 families have been affected by the cyclone. The government has declared a state of emergency in 400 districts as it seeks to bring relief from the effects of the cyclone. Highclere Castle in southern England, where the early 20th century period drama Downton Abbey was shot, seems to be in trouble as it faces a serious staffing crunch. The dearth of workers has forced its owner to mothball the castle's main business of hosting large weddings on the site of the Emmy and Golden Globe winning show. Its staffing challenges in particular illustrate the still unfolding impacts of Brexit on Britain's labour market. Japanese conveyor belt sushi chain Sushi has announced that they have started using an artificial intelligence camera system after a video of a man licking a soy sauce bottle at one of their restaurants in central Japan went viral. The AI-equipped camera system will reportedly spot any suspicious behavior and will then proceed to send an alert to Sushi's headquarters, where a team will further take a look at the recorded video and contact restaurant staff to take necessary actions.